Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Fawzia Saban, Associate Professor from the Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation. I hope you all are having very good time during this quarantine period. Today, this is the first class of the day, and today our topic is crystal-induced arthropathy, GAU. After it, this is the first class of physical medicine. I think almost a few people joined the class. And without making delay, I would just want to start the class. So let's get started with introduction. Introduction. The inflammatory potential of crystals resides in their physical irregularity and high negative surface charge, which can induce inflammation and damage cell membranes. That means in crystal-induced arthropathy in gout, the main inflammatory potentials are the crystals, and they are the responsible for inducing inflammation and damaging the cell membrane. Sound ठीक है? Sorry for the delay. Crystal may also cause mechanical damage to tissue and act as wear particles at the joint surface. In some instances, these crystals are the primary pathogenic agents that is known as two-crystal deposition disorder. An example of it is gout. And in some other situation, musculoskeletal disease, predisposing factors that is secondary crystals formations occur due to some secondary diseases, that is osteoarthritis or calcium pyrophosphate crystals in osteoarthritis. Now, what is gout? Gout is a true crystal deposition disorder. That means true crystal deposition disorders means crystals are the culprit or main inflammatory agent for this disease. Most common inflammatory arthritis in men and older women, which is caused by the deposition of monosodium urate crystal in and around synovial joints. This monosodium urate monohydrate crystals initially favoring lower rather than upper limb and especially targeting the first metatarsalophalangeal joint and small joints of feet and hands. Monosodium urate crystals takes months or years to grow to detectable size, implying a long asymptomatic phase. That means when a monosodium urate crystal appear in the synovial fluid, that doesn't make gout. It takes several years to grow in a detectable size, which can cause inflammation and the symptoms. So a person can stay a long period as an asymptomatic phase. Epidemiology. As we know earlier that rheumatoid arthritis, female are the main predominant factor. But in inflammatory arthritis, that is gout, male are the strongly predominant, and male-female ratio is more than 5 is to 1. It is the most common inflammatory arthritis in men and older women. Prevalence increases with increasing serum uric acid and with age. The incidence and prevalence of gout have increased in many countries in the recent decades in parallel with increased longevity and the higher prevalence of metabolic syndrome, of which hyperuricemia is an integral component. Main point is here in epidemiology, that is the male are the most predominant factor and the ratio is more than 5 is to 1, and it is the most common inflammatory arthritis in men and older women. And the prevalence increase with increasing serum uric acid level and with the age. Serum uric levels are higher in men from the 20s and after the menopause in the woman. That means in case of male, young males will be affected, and in case of female, postmenopausal women are highly prone to the disease of gout. Hyperuricemia. What is hyperuricemia? Hyperuricemia is defined as serum uric acid level greater than 2 standard deviations above the mean for the population, that is 0.40 millimole per liter or 6.7 milligram per dl for men and 0.35 millimole or 5.9 milligram per dl for women. This definition is important for your exam. You may ask about the serum uric acid level in men and women individually. Prolonged hyperuricemia is necessary but not sufficient for development of gout. That is, prolonged hyperuricemia doesn't mean that patient is having gout. For developing of gout, it is very important to develop a crystal in a detectable size. So then the patient can develop symptoms. Not only prolonged hyperuricemia, we cannot say that there is prolonged hyperuricemia, so patient is suffering from gout. No. For gout, you have to say that when patient comes to you with the symptoms, that is that crystals develop in the synovial joint in a detectable size that produce inflammation and tissue damage. What are the risk factors? Male gender, female gender after postmenopause, advance of age. There are some drugs which can cause development of gout, that is diuretics, low dose aspirin, cyclosporin, hypertension, generalized osteoarthritis, metabolic symptom, high alcohol intake. Among that, the beer is the most highest prominent. High body mass index, diet, a high protein diet, that high purine containing diet, that is red meat, seafood, offal, fructose, and low vitamin C. These are some pictures of the diet, and this means we have to stop all this for hyperuricemia or gout when the person develop gout. This is the figure of uric acid pole, which means that most of the part of our uric acid comes from two-thirds of uric acid comes from our endogenous urine metabolism, and one-third comes from our dietary source. And the concentration of this uric acid in the body or in the synovial fluid actually depends on balancing between the synthesis and the excretion. The synthesis and excretion is done by the kidney, two-thirds by the kidney and one-third by the gut. Now come type of gout. There is primary gout and secondary gout. Usually, women over the age of 65 and male over the age of 40. These are these patients develop primary gout. And secondary gout means there is secondary any cause that is results from chronic hyperuricemia due to renal impairment or drug therapy or chronic diuretic use. This may cause secondary gout. Now come to the clinical feature. Acute gout. During the attack, joint shows signs of marked synovitis, but also periarticular swelling and erythema. In almost at all first attacks, a single distal joint is affected. The first metatarsopharyngeal joint is affected in over 50% of cases, which names podagra. Sometimes it happens like that. A person is having high protein diet in the last night. He went to sleep, and in the night time, in the midnight, he just awake with the pain, and there is swelling and reddening of his first metatarsophalangeal joint. In the most commonly, the patient present in such a way. Most common sites are other common sites are the ankle, midfoot, knee, small joints of hands, wrist, and elbow. The axial skeleton and the large proximal jaws are rarely involved and never as the first site. Polyarticular presentations are rare. This is the picture of podagra, that is first metatarsal joint is affected There is swelling, erythema, and extreme pain and tenderness of first metatarsalphalangeal joint. You may get this sort of patient as a short case. They may, and then the teacher may ask you the question about this foot, and then he or she may go inside the topics of gout. So these topics is very important for your professional examination. Typical adults have the following characteristics: extremely rapid onset, reaching maximum severity in just 2 to 6 hours, often waking the patient in the early morning. Severe pain, often described as the worst pain ever. Extreme tenderness, the patient is unable to wear a sock or to let bedding rest on the joint. Marked swelling with overlying red shiny skin. It may be self-limiting over 5 to 14 days with complete return to normality. Now come recurrent and chronic gout. After an acute attack, some people never have a second episode. In others, the next episode occurs after years. In most, a second attack occurs within 1 year. Frequency of attack gradually increases with time. Later attacks are likely to involve several joints and be more severe. The interval between the first attack and the development of chronic symptoms is variable, but average around 10 years. The main determinants in the serum uric acid, the higher it is, and the earlier and more extensive the development of joint damage and monosodium urate deposits. Chronic tophaceous gout. The large crystal monosodium urate crystal deposit produce irregular form nodule, that is tophi. In gout there is tophi, and in rheumatoid arthritis there is rheumatoid nodule. Around extensor surface of finger, hands, forearms, elbow, Achilles tendons, and sometimes the helix of the ear. Tophi are usually a very late feature. They may appear surprisingly rapidly in under 1 year in patients with chronic renal failure. These are some pictures of the tophi. Renal and urinary tract manifestations. Uric acid stones cause renal colic in around 10% of gout patients in Europe. The incidence is higher in hot climates and is favored by purine overproduction, uriceric drugs, defects in tubular reabsorption of uric acid, dehydration, and lowering of urine pH, that is, chronic diarrhea or allostomy. Hyperuricemia and gout also predispose to calcium oxalate, calcium phosphate, and mixed stones. Progressive renal disease is an important complication confined to untreated severe chronic tophaceous gout. This results from monosodium urate crystal deposition in the interstitium of the medulla and the pyramids of consequence. Chronic inflammation, giant cell reaction, fibrosis, glomerulosclerosis, and secondary pyelonephritis. Asymptomatic hyperuricemia. Asymptomatic hyperuricemia generally requires no treatment. That means patient is having hyperuricemia but having no symptoms, they do not require any treatment. Treatment is therefore unnecessary unless there is strong family history of gout, urolithiasis, or persistent very high levels, that is more than 10.1 milligram per dl. Now, how we diagnose the case? That is, this is a case of gout or gouty arthritis. Observation of monosodium urate crystals in the synovial fluid leukocytes. How this monosodium urate crystal appears. These are needle shaped and negatively bifurcated. These are the pictures of negative birefringence, and that is this. You can see the picture. There is needle-shaped crystals, and this is the difference from pseudo-gout and the gout, because in pseudo-gout the crystal which appears that are positively birefringence and that is rhomboid shape. You can get these pictures both in Davidson. This is another picture of negative birefringence. Now investigation. For assessment, assessment of renal functions, that is serum creatinine, urine analysis, hypertension, blood glucose, serum lipid profile should be undertaken. During an acute attack, there will be CRP will be elevated and neutrophilia are usual. ESR is often modestly raised in tophaceous gout. That means we need CBC, ESR, complete blood counts, ESR, C-reactive protein, and other in other cases we also need renal function test, that is serum creatinine, urine analysis, blood glucose level, serum lipid profile. Imaging. Radiographic changes of gout are seen in up to 50% of patients. Most common involvement of joint in the first metatarsophalangeal joint and toes, ankles, and hands. Bone mineralization is initially normal. That is, BMD is normal at initial case. Findings include soft tissue tophi containing birefringence monosodium urate crystals, punched out erosion with siderotic borders and overhanging edges, preservation of the joint space, and good bony density. But in rheumatoid arthritis, bony density will be low in rheumatoid arthritis. These are the some differentiating points between rheumatoid arthritis and gout. Now come to the treatment. As there is intense of pain, so for reducing pain, we need an analgesic, that is non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs. Another potent inhibitor for neutrophil microtubular assembly, that is colchicine, which is also required for acute gouty arthritis. Sometimes we also use steroids in the form of intraarticular orally. Joint aspiration actually, which is usually done to relieve the pain, as because there is intense swelling and there is severe pain, to just to give relief to patient. We sometimes aspirate the joint, and also that is joint aspiration also done due to for detection of the crystals. The most recent advancement is biologics, that is interleukin 1 beta inhibitor, canakinumab, is effective but extremely expensive and so seldom given. Now prophylaxis. Patient who have single attack require no DAC. Patient who have more than one attack within 12 months, and patient with complications, that is tophi erosions and renal disease. Now come to the long-term management. Control of predisposing factors should always attempted. Now, lifestyle alteration is very essential. That is to reduce weight, reduce beer consumption. In some patients, they use diuretics as antihypertensive, so that should be stopped. Avoid high purine diet, that is red meat, seafood, offal, oily food. So, lifestyle modification is one very essential, one of the first steps of long-term management. Then come to the drugs. There are some drugs that is used to decrease uric acid production. That is, which is known as uricemic hypouricemic drug. How it acts? It actually inhibits the xanthine oxidase enzyme, which is responsible for converting it to purine metabolites. What are they? What are the drugs? That is allopurinol and febustered. Use of urosoric drugs, that is probenecid or sulfenpyrazone. Sometimes these allopurinol drugs are contraindicated for the renal patient, so it should be used with caution. But now the recent advances is febusterat. It can use in renal patient without any harm. So at the present situation, we always try to use febusterat instead of allopurinol. Now come to the differential diagnosis. The first one comes, that is pseudogout. In pseudogout, calcium pyrophosphate deposition disease (CPPD) is responsible for pseudogout. There will be chondrocalcinosis and rhomboid shaped crystal. I just mentioned earlier that what is the difference between pseudogout and gout? How you differentiate it by seeing the crystals. In pseudogout, the crystal will be rhomboid shaped crystal and positively birefringence, and in gout, there will be negatively charged with birefringence and needle shaped crystals. Osteoarthritis, septic arthritis, cellulitis, psoriatic, and last one is rheumatoid arthritis. Nodule potentially confused with the tophi. In this case, you have to carefully note the clinical presentation of the patient, how they come to you. In rheumatoid arthritis, usually small joints of hands are affected earlier. This history should be taken. There will be family history, female predominant. These are the differentiating points from gout and the rheumatoid arthritis. Now, I just almost come at the end of the class, that is conclusion. Gout is a chronic disease caused by the deposition of urate crystal resulting from hyperuricemia. Controlled hyperuricemia are cause significant joint manifestation. Uncontrolled hyperuricemia can cause significant joint manifestations. Hyperuricemia is associated with other prevalent comorbidities, that is hypertension, obesity, hyperlipidemia, and insulin resistance. These four conditions are together known as metabolic syndrome. Hypertension, obesity, hyperlipidemia, and insulin resistance. Anti-inflammatory agents controls the symptoms of gout, but treating the disease may require lowering the serum urate. When administering urate lowering therapy, the defined serum urate level is less than 6 milligram per dl. Less than 6 milligram per dl. So, dear students, this is all about gout. That's all for today. Hope pray for us and stay. All of you stay blessed and have a safe time. Thank you.